Batgirls, issue 15, Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad writing with Neil Gouge on the art. So, last issue was the silent issue with Cass looking for Steph. This issue starts off, we see Cass on her way on the motorbike, and obviously she's going to jump in eventually. But most of this issue is Steph with her father tied up in the cabin as he monologues and explains what he's doing. He wants to reconnect with his daughter. He's got this Luger, all this stuff. He's playing like a weird. He's done like a little rig of a game show. He wants to play a game show with her, and when she gets answers wrong, he's going to electrocute her. Dad of the year, everyone! Give him a round of applause. Dad of the year.
It sucks. Yeah. Oh man, he's terrible.
Yeah. So. I had fun with the issue though. I thought because we got such a Cass centric issue last time, it was nice that this was more of a Steph focused issue, and it was more about her sort of like, no, I'm not like you. I'm kind of like you. I can admit in what ways I'm like you, but but
that doesn't define me. You know, it's her choosing to be Batgirl despite her upbringing is what defines her and her relationship to Barbara and Cass, and I like that a lot because. The note that in the last issue, because I read these back to back, and the note in the last issue was really dire. Like I didn't remember you talking about it. It sounded like it was a suicide note almost, like, or not a suicide note, but like if you are reading,
it was a goodbye note. It was like and just so that really built the stakes. And so as she's thinking like this is it, she's gonna go down fighting, and her realizing that it's Cass, that's her relationship with Barbara and Cass, and being a Batgirl, I think, is what makes Steph. I really like that. Yeah, I think what I really like about these last couple issues is it really addresses one of the complaints I had about the first arc of the book, which is it was so overstuffed. I feel like these last few issues have been so well paced and like nice and focused on one particular thing that this felt like it had stakes. Like, Cass coming to save Steph felt like it had stakes. So when something shocking happens later, it did actually like knock the wind out of me a little bit, and it kind of had a bit of impact. So I appreciate that. Before we get to all that stuff, though, I want to mention there's a couple of things in the art I love in the first half. I love how over the top Clue Master's like facials are in some panels. Whenever there's a panel where he gets angry and says "No, wrong again," and he's holding his Luger, the way his mouth is open and the way his eyes look, I think is phenomenally over the top and cartoony. I loved it.
Yeah.
The next page has another big one as well, and then that's when Cass jumps in afterwards. Cass fights Clue Master, unties Steph. It's a whole thing, and Clue Master, basically goes nuts. Goes to blow up the cabin because he's rigged it to blow up. There's fire around him, and he's so obsessed. He's like, no one leaves till I say they do, and he fires his gun at Cass, but Steph jumps in to take the bullet, and Steph gets shot right in the middle of the chest. And I actually, Joe, for a second, it looks like Clue Master is going to shoot himself in the head because he's just shot his daughter. And it's only because Cass batarangs the gun out of his hand that he doesn't do it. So it gets really dark for a moment.
It says that, you live with what you've done.
Yeah.
So reading it digitally, right, you can't feel how close you are to it. I thought that was the end of the book. I thought we were leaving on, oh man, Steph got shot, and that really was a goodbye letter. And I was shocked. And then I turned the page and there was more book. And I go, oh, phew. And that's where we see Cass with the batarang and on Clue Master.
Then we have like Cass holding Steph as she's dying, and like the art really makes it clear that Steph dies here. Yeah. And I was like, what the hell? You get this full page spread as well. She's already kind of died, but then there's a full page spread of the flames behind her. You see Cass having the tear come out. And then the last issue actually set up that Cass had stolen some of this Lazarus resin or whatever it is from the League, which was in the last issue. And she pulls it out and she pours it into her mouth. Clue Master says that's because that's how Clue Master's back, because he was brought back by Lazarus.
Yep.
And Cass pulls down part of her mask and is like sort of like and kisses Steph in the forehead. It's a really sweet moment, and I think this friendship that's formed between these two since the start of the book is really kind of the heart of it and is really sweet. So this was a really nice two-parter that kind of like, I'd say two-parter, even like three-parter, including the body swap annual. Just as a really nice
story. It's this really nice thing that pays off.
Character and relationship defining.
Yeah, because it's character first and plot second, which is something that the start of this book was really suffering with. It was like just so much plot, and I think it's done for the better. So yeah, Cluemaster's arrested. Cass takes Steph back. They explain that she's okay and that the Lazarus didn't have any side effects because it was like immediately. It was like, she just died. Lazarus went in. She's okay. Right. Which, don't get me wrong, like part of me is like, okay, I do wish like death was a bit more lasting, but the moment itself was so well done that I'm not too mad.
Shocked. Although I still kind of would like to see a little bit of a mania in her, and that play into, am I my father's daughter? Right? Like, because he is super unhinged throughout this. And is that up to the Lazarus? Is that why he's so unhinged?
Yeah, well, they kind of imply that he's more unhinged than he was before because of like how he was brought back.
And they also hint that it was Mad Hatter. It was Jervis.
Yeah, well, there's someone comes to see him in prison and says, "Hey, can you like give us some clues? Because that's what you love to do, right? You love to give clues as to anything related to Jarvis Tech, and because he's wanted, and so. But he seems like he's really like the fact that he killed his daughters really seems to be hitting him hard. Yeah. Despite the fact that he's a complete prick, he does seem to have like been hit hard that he's done this. And we get a quick scene with Steph and Cass sharing a moment on the roof. So, yeah. But they're like, we're gonna have to Matt Hatter and all that, and
pretty good three little issue to stop in, right? Depending on where this goes and the time, I might stick on it. Because I do like Cass.
Why are you so back? I thought because you caught up, you were sticking on it.
Just because, like, again, it all depends on if I have time to read. Like this week, if it's another bare week, then absolutely. But if it starts getting pile up again, I'm just trying to set expectations here.
Okay.
But, yeah, it's very good though, and I didn't even miss Babs. Someone that was so core to the first couple that I read. I just like it that it's Cass and Steph.
Yeah, I'm sure Babs will pop back in and out, but we're getting Babs and Nightwing anyway, so it's not like we're missing her in terms of like just in general. But no, like it ends with them having the moment on the roof, talking about taking on Mad Hatter and feeling quite confident about it. There's a little tease at the end, though. There's one little scene, one page with the podcaster, like Chick, who was in like the earlier stories, and she gets delivered a head, like a bust of a head with a note saying "Read me," and the text says "Next, a very important date." But there's like blood on this like statue head as well, so it's sort of setting up the next villain and what we're doing in the next arc. It's a nice little moody tease at the end for next time. So. No, I enjoyed it. I think this book, I think honestly, as soon as it got out of the first arc, it started to improve. I think since we had, since we've just slowed down a little bit, but I do think the annual until this issue has been the best the book has been, and I hope that it keeps picking up. I'm enjoying it. I think if you like these characters, there's probably something to enjoy here. Admittedly, the first arc was a little bit of a rough step in.
Yeah, and because I mostly listen to you when you talk about these, I'm not that lost, right?
Yeah.
So when the podcaster person put up, I was kind of vaguely familiar, but the mystery is just there too. That if you were just hopping on, let's say with the annual or whatever, the writing's not that far out that you can't just pick it up, which is nice. I always like when that, because there's. In modern comics that kind of write for the trade, if you pop in on a random thing like this, it's not always as forgiving. But maybe it's just the style of who's writing this? It's Conrad and Clunan. Maybe their style just lends itself better to that. I'm not sure. To picking up, but Cass and Steph forever.
Yeah. I had a good time. What you rating? Batgirls 15.
I'm gonna give it 7.5.
It's a comfortable 8 out of 10 for me. I'm really glad I'm enjoying this book because I really wanted this book for a long time, and it was a bit of a bummer that it was a bit shaky early on. But it has definitely grown. And given that this is the same pair of writers that I jumped away from Wonder Woman on, it's almost like not a miracle, but like a nice surprise that this book's been getting better rather than languishing and getting worse like Wonder Woman did from them.